This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 556, Displaying Effective Leadership in a Remote Working Environment, by Lucy Rose with carlpullein.com. And I'm your narrator, Dan. I am here each and every day reading to you from some of the very best blogs on entrepreneurship. And for now, let's get right to today's post as we start optimizing your life. Displaying Effective Leadership in a Remote Working Environment, by Lucy Rose with carlpullein.com. Remote working is set to become the new norm around the globe. Before the recent coronavirus pandemic transformed the American economy, remote workers accounted for 4.7 million employees. As of March 19th, there were 2 times the amount of remote workers compared to this time last year, and the upward trend is only expected to continue, according to Ray Canzanese, Netscope's Threat Research Director. On the flip side of an increased occurrence of remote working setups is the rising need for a different kind of leadership, one that fits the new norm. The way you choose to lead can not only encourage employees in uncertain times like these, but also sets the tone for remote management going forward. Create clear boundaries and expectations on both the management and employee front. Leaders of remote teams need to have clear guidelines in place to avoid miscommunication, employee exhaustion, and general discombobulation amongst the team. Setting these guidelines early on lets employees know what is expected of them and the processes to follow if those expectations cannot be met. With in-office performance assessment out of the picture, leaders must now set measurable and company-specific performance metrics for remote teams. It is also important to regularly revisit and update these goals if needed. Try not to focus solely on the larger company goals when setting your guidelines. Instead, include guidelines on team and leader communications. Even without a physical office, you can still set social responsibility guidelines and promote sustainability goals. For example, you can still encourage employees to practice environmentally conscious habits, like opting for eco-conscious vehicles instead of taking part in shared rides. To ease the difficulties in communication, create built-in slots every week where your entire team is available for team meetings and collaboration ideas. Establish recurring meetings and include them in a shared calendar that is visible to each team member so that they know what's happening and come prepared. Finally, make sure the team knows how to report any changes in their remote working locations or a change in project goals. Make communication and feedback a core part of your leadership style. Regardless of the kind of leader you are, great communication is a key skill to have when managing remote teams. A study by the Harvard Business Review showed that 46% of remote workers thought that the best managers were the ones that checked in frequently and regularly. However, leaders should be careful not to micromanage. Employee trust is an important component in remote working. Be sure to ask employees questions in your weekly check-ins, and more importantly, be open to feedback. Encourage both vertical and horizontal conversations, as well as off-topic conversations amongst employees. Keep worker engagement up with accountability and regular coaching opportunities. According to a Gallup survey, 70% of an employee's engagement is driven by their manager, which highlights how significant of a role a manager plays in an employee's experience from recruitment and onboarding to performance management and employee motivation. It is often said that managers are the most important link between a business leader's vision and its operational front line. Therefore, training your management team on ways to engage employees and keeping those managers engaged themselves is a great place to improve your leadership. For remote working environments, the distance and inherent freedom can often prove to be a barrier in holding workers accountable and keeping them focused. By creating a culture of accountability from the management level downwards, you can alleviate some of those common gaps that come with a remote team. Weekly team meetings and the sharing of individual goals can help employees and managers stay on task. Requiring weekly progress reports are also useful opportunities to introduce coaching and career development milestones for employees. Keep remote workers and managers integrated with tech support. Remote teams center largely around the integration of good technical support. The advancement of technology has been the main propeller in the growth of remote working. For a leader of a remote team, this is no different. Having the right technical support and tools makes it easier to do their jobs and be present to guide their employees, even if they're not in the same room. Managers and team leaders can use remote management tools such as Scoro, iDoneThis, and Pucka Team to delegate, manage projects, and encourage water cooler conversations among remote workers. This is particularly useful in a remote working environment where a fear of being left out and a feeling of isolation has been prevalent. While it is an ongoing process, leadership practices like these can help you become a better leader in a remote working setup, bringing out the best in your team in the process. You just listened to the post titled Displaying Effective Leadership in a Remote Working Environment by Lucy Rose with carlpullein.com. You're ready to make the leap and turn your passion into profit, but you need the right team to make it happen. Indeed makes it easy to hire and build a team with the right skills to make your dreams a reality. If you're hiring, you need Indeed, because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. And Indeed is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have requirements, or else you don't pay. I love that Indeed makes hiring all in one place so easy. With Instant Match, over 90% of employers get quality candidates as soon as they sponsor their job post, according to Indeed data. So start hiring right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/startup. Offer valid through April 30th. Go to Indeed.com/startup to claim your $75 credit before April 30th. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. And a big thank you to Lucy for this great article, and also thank you to Carl who lets us share content from his site. And by the way, Carl's last name is spelled Pullein, and I do have his website linked in this episode's description. Carl is a renowned productivity and time management coach who has helped thousands of people around the world get better at managing their time and become more productive using the technology that they already carry around with them every day. You can check out his podcast, which is called The Working With Podcast. He has written 3 books on productivity and time management, and Carl also has a couple of courses available. They're called Time and Life Mastery and Your Digital Life. His purpose is to help people learn how to manage their time so that they can enjoy their lives and build a life they're truly proud of. It's likely you'll hear more of him on Optimal Living Daily as well, so you can check out that show for more from Carl. And be sure to come by carlpullein.com to show your support. You can see more about him, plus his podcast, coaching, courses, webinars, books, downloads, you name it, he's got it. Again, that's carlpullein.com. But that's going to do it for this episode 556. Hope you enjoyed the post from Carl, and I will see you right back here tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.